Hi guys, it's Tuesday, so it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. Stay with me. Okay guys, today what we're going to talk about is bush pots and little tricks of things you can do with a bush pot. Now the bush pot that I'm using is a Pathfinder, but there are other types on the market like the zebra and etc. And all of these are kind of Bibled on this idea. This one happens to have the handles on the back, which allows it to act like a coffee pot. It's got a little pour spout right here. Now that is going to be an advantage and a disadvantage right there. I think you can see that pretty easy. Yes. Okay, now everybody knows the usual use of this, of taking it and putting it hanging over fire as a cook pot. The handles also allow it to function as a coffee pot. And I've showed an earlier video about how to make sure this lid is friction fit. How you take it and take a hammer and tap this edge all the way around to make it lean out just a grunt, so that when you put it up there you have to press it down and it locks in place. And then when you go to pour out coffee, it don't automatically slosh out. Still need a whole little bit of pressure, but it works. But when you're going to use this for the other purposes that it can be doing, like for example, taking it, turning it sideways like this, and you're going to put a little shelf in here of something, a little piece of mesh or whatever, and use it as a reflector oven where you face it toward the fire and you get a good hot fire about 18-20 inches out here around it. And I like to put the handle where I can pick it up and move it. And these folding handles can be spread out and acting like legs, as you can see, to keep it from rolling side to side. I might even run a stick through there to get the right up angle when it's sitting on the ground. Now that gives me the advantage of a reflector oven for a small thing. I'm just wanting to make one or two biscuits for me, or bake some little pastry treat or whatever for me. I'm not doing it for the camp, I'm doing it for me. So sideways like this, the pot does just fine like that. Now, to bake in this pot. Say I've got something like a quail or something like that and I want to baste it and cook it. I can leave the pot vertical like this. I put something on the bottom to raise it up off the bottom. I then put my meat or whatever the thing in here I'm wanting to baste, and I put aluminum foil across the top. And then I take the lid and squeeze in. Why aluminum foil? That pour spout right there can act as a heat loss, and I want to crumple the aluminum foil back around the top of the pot to keep that heat loss to a minimum. Okay? Also, with the Pathfinder one, it comes with this stove, and that fits up underneath. Now this stove can be an advantage because if I put it in the coals, I've got a place I can sit there and keep it directly off the direct heat for the transfer of the heat. I can also, in certain baking conditions, use this. Now, I'm going to bake something that's going to be low and slow. I want it to take time, and I don't want to use a reflector oven. What I can do is turn it upside down. I want to put the food onto the lid. Remember that piece of aluminum foil? I'm going to put the aluminum foil laying across here with my whatever on the top of it, and I'm going to sit the can over the top of it like that. Now I'm going to put the base up on one or two small rocks or something, so I've got just a little bit of heat, just a few coals down here, not many. So I've got heat going up into this. That aluminum foil, I crunch back around the top. I want the bulk of my heat coming from the top, and that's where the stove comes in. I fill the stove full of coals and set it on the top. Now I'm transferring that heat indirectly. Heat wants to rise, so this is a very inefficient way to do it. So inefficient is slow. I might sprinkle a few coals around the outside of this like you do with a regular Dutch oven to allow the heat to keep this air column warm all the way around. As these coals burn down, I can grab it with my pliers, dash out, scoop up more coals, and put it right back on. And thus I turn it into like a mini Dutch oven. And I can cook certain things long and low and slow where it doesn't dry out. Now, I can also take and put other stews, things like that, in the pot and cook it low and slow the same way by just simply putting it on some low coals a little bit and then setting the big coal up here on top on the lid and let it slow cook that way. Maybe I want to put a brown on top of a a shepherd's pie or something like that. I just want to brown the top a little bit. Close it, set this up here with the heat. Now if the pot lid's off and you set it up there, it will sit there, but ashes and stuff will fall in. Not a good idea. Ashes don't eat good. So, in conclusion, this Bushpot is a water carrier. It's also a source for me to gather up and boil water to make it potable so I can drink it. I can use it to transport gear inside of it. I can take it and use it to cook vegetables and other foods on. I can use it as a coffee pot for pouring liquids out, broths, soups, stews, whatever. I can use it as a reflector oven sideways for a small setting. I can use it upside down in the coals as a Dutch oven with my coals up here on top. I can use that top as a real small grill for grilling small pieces of meat. That's why I carry one of these Bushpots. All those options. Because like I've talked about earlier in things, you decide what I'm going to cook, and then you take the tool necessary to cook it. Don't take a big old huge cook set if all you're going to do is boil water. So, keep your cook set to reflect what I'm cooking. Now this is a great Bushpot to carry in the winter because I'm purifying large quantities of water. I'm also boiling soups, stews, and things like that because that warms me at night in a cold camp. You know, I need something to keep the fire going inside, so I want hot liquids, hot foods, things like that. I can bake breads out of my larder, make up small biscuits and stuff like that and put into it. I can do other things with this pot. I can deep fry. If I put deep grease in it, I can deep fry quail, I can deep fry fish in it. All these options in one lightweight pack that I can pack gear in and put in the bottom of my haversack. That's why I carry a Bushpot. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.